Hello, everyone. Welcome. I'm so glad you're here, and we're so glad that you're tuning in to our live broadcast. This is like a groundbreaking week. I mean, it won't start out that way, but by the end of the week, we will be in new territory. And I'm kind of curious, nervous, anxious, and excited, like all at the same time. Um, so if you haven't listened to our forecast for this week, I encourage you to do that. It's on YouTube. It will pretty much bring you up to speed to everything that we'll be talking about today. Be sure that if you want a reading and you want to know how this Barbeau's basket is going to affect you, I'll do my best, but I can tell you how intense it will be based on your astrology chart. So be sure that you give us your birthday time, your birth time, date, location, and maybe your current location, particularly if you're outside the United States, like if you're in Australia or India or something. Um, and so we appreciate that you're here. We want you to ask questions. We want to answer them. We want to help you understand astrology more deeply. That's why we're here. So we're here to help you with understanding astrology. Astrology takes a lot of learning, a lot of practice, a lot of time to really fully comprehend things. And I mean, Bright Hawk and I spent pretty much 3 days a week, wouldn't you say, during the entire pandemic, right, Hawk? Just doing everything we could, just take like 2 or 3 classes in naughty school every week.
Yeah.
And hi KK. And it's kind of astrology takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of um, energy, some learning to figure it out. And so we want to
And it
encourage you to
never
ask
ends.
questions. No, it really
It's
doesn't. So,
that's what I love about it. It's what I love about music. It's what I love about art. It's what I love about astrology. The deeper you go, the more there is to know. And it's never a, okay, that's it. It's like, no, no, there's
yeah.
always more. There's always
Yeah,
more.
there's no
And
end to it.
yeah, it's
Hmm.
fascinating. And boy, what a fascinating happy new moon, everybody, especially new moon in Cancer. Very, of course, the
Is that
moon
today?
is the ruler. Yes, today. It's right now. This morning it was 5:45 this morning, I think, was the new moon.
Mm-hmm.
So great night for stargazing when it's a new moon. Um, I know that I've been enjoying that, and it's always new moons are always great opportunities to check in with yourself, check in with your goals, intentions, wishes, desires. Of course, Cancer is always going to invite you to look at how we nurture ourselves, our family, how you take care of yourself in your home. Um, of course, Cancer is ruled by the moon. And this week, what a week it is. I hope you look at the forecast and especially for your zodiac, for
Yeah,
your
yeah,
rising
the
sign,
horse.
especially.
Yeah, I would say particularly for this Barbo's basket, at the end of the week, I think it's gonna apply more to your rising sign. So hopefully you know what your rising sign is. Like,
Yeah.
you wanna really keep a good eye on that. You wanna know what your rising sign is. You can easily go to my website, and I put together like a little workbook that will help you figure out what your rising sign is. If you go to Divine Androgen there, if you go to divineandrogen.com, there's a digital shop, and inside the digital shop, you'll be able to Um, Pay a few bucks. It's just a couple dollars um, for the workbook that will help you figure out what your sun, rising, and moon sign is. It's really a great way to make sure you know what your rising sign is. The horoscopes are usually more accurate, even regular horoscopes, not just this week's special horoscope, but um, generally, I find Bright Hawk. Do you find that your rising sign is more accurate, or?
Oh, way. And since I'm cuspy and I'm one of those people, cuspy means you're right at the, last degrees or first degrees of a sign. I call myself sometimes a Sagicorn because I'm a 29/29 Sagittarius. So um, I listen to, for sure, the Sagittarius, for sure the Capricorn, and they're almost always a blended uh,
Mm.
piece of information that applies, and the rising sign, which is vital. And between those three, I know, okay, now I have a really good idea what's going to go on and what the flavor of it might be. And yeah, so let's talk a little bit about what's going on this week, because July 2026 has been on every astrologer's radar and is being called probably the most significant month astrologically in this decade. Now, there's a man named Andre Barbeau, who's a French astrologer. He's called a mundane astrologer, which means looking at things more about the world and the big trends that we see. And this man has been incredibly accurate as a predictive astrologer. So the big one that he pointed out almost way ahead of anyone else was predicting the worldwide pandemic. He apparently came out with that information in January 2020. And, by March 2020, the whole world was shutting down. I guess really by April,
I think
March, we
he
were
got
starting to see.
he died. He
He's,
actually died
yeah,
in 2019. So he died like
yeah,
right before the
but
pandemic.
yeah, so he pointed out these large configurations. And so in this case, we call it Barbeau's basket. And if you look at this week's astrology, particularly starting on July 19th, what you see is that, and you cannot, deny it, it is real tempted to share my screen here.
Yeah, go ahead, share it.
Let's go ahead and do that. Uh, Share
Yeah, I mean, I
screen. I'm
thought it
just going
was
to
pretty
show the.
significant to take a just to see it. I showed a client of mine who came for a reading, and I thought it was interesting that she actually shared a bunch of points. Um,
Right.
uh, but you can see the Barbeau's basket right there in the middle.
Oh, you
Kind
know
of
what?
looks like it's
It'll probably come out better if I put it in a PDF, and which I have to. I just didn't
probably.
open it.
Hmm.
Let me do that.
Or if you just show it on Astro.
Oh,
Um,
we were doing it at the same time.
yeah.
Uh,
So I think that with Barbeau's basket, it's a very sort of interesting because we don't really know what's going to happen. Really, we just know
right.
that this configuration is happening. We can make some guesses about what might happen based on the planets and their conversations, and we could but this has actually never happened before. And if you didn't know, a lot of astrology, especially the predictive part, is based on things that have happened in the past. So if you're trying to predict astrology, most of the time you're looking at history, historic events. So like the man that this is named after, this guy, he was a historian. He
Mm-hmm,
loved
mm-hmm.
history, and he was sort of a master historian who also would look at astrology and see how the two lined up. And so he did a lot of studying in that realm, and that's very important research for astrologers. Okay, um, and the thing is that as an astrologer, um, you know, this takes a lot of time, energy, and a lot of hard work. So let me just say that he came up with this basket because it was super important. He's seen that. So first of all, he's seen that the pandemic was going to happen, and it did. And he predicted that it would be a very low time for humanity. And I think most of us could agree that that is exactly what happened. He also said that it would be some sort of virus or pandemic of some sort, and he was right. And then now he has predicted what we're calling the golden era, or a shift in power structures. It could also be like a shift in resources, like how resources are distributed, particularly because of humanitarian efforts. And this totally makes sense with Pluto and Aquarius. It also makes sense that our power structures would shift because of the if you're paying any attention, at least to American politics, you're already seeing a shift into political socialism is starting to shift. A lot of the new politicians getting voted in are more of a socialist nature. Where I think in general the United States is sick of the whole, regardless of what side you're on, the Democratic Republican thing. I think most of us are sick of that. I know I've been sick of it for a long time, since before Obama, frankly. I've been sick of it way back. So the fact is that now a lot of Americans are starting to shift into more seeing more of a socialist thing, and are starting to, whether they know it as socialism or not, that's two different things. Not everybody recognizes, but like Mondani and some of the newer politicians that are being voted in are actually democratic socialists. Okay. So, like, if you were to try to classify them, and so it is already happening. I wonder what big event will happen, because it's probably going to be some sort of event, maybe at the end of the week or over the weekend or even into next week. And I think talking about Barbo's basket is important because it involves a lot of really big outer planets. And if you have anything between 0 and 6 degrees in Aquarius, Gemini, Leo, Aries, Libra, it's going to be particularly intense for you. Okay. Because those because that's where the basket's points are, between 0 and 6 degrees. So it's actually happening at 4 degrees. So you happen to have something at 4 degrees. Um, but most of these planets will affect anything within about a few degrees. And it could actually even be more intense for somebody that has, oh, I have Aquarius and Aries and Gemini placements. You're going to have it more intense than maybe someone that has more of like, Virgo and Taurus placements. Okay. So, and Leo is the other sign that will feel it intensely. Um, so, it's, it, you're going to want to be paying attention to exactly how this influences your life, because it will be influencing your life until the end of the month at the very least, if not
Yeah,
beyond that, because this is like a beginning of an era. This is like the spark that starts the fire. This is
right.
like, this is a
So,
major event.
mhm. So I just, we've been talking the last several weeks about how the outer planets are the ones that define the age we're in, the era, the generation. It's the stuff that takes years to really evolve, devolve, reveal. And the fact that we have Jupiter, Uranus, Neptune is retrograde, Pluto is retrograde. These are the big movers. The fact that the moon is involved as well. We have this grand trine. We have these two oppositions of Jupiter opposite Pluto. Jupiter amplifies everything. Jupiter's pretty close, getting closer to a conjunction with the sun. Of course, the new moon was also very. Today's a new moon, and Mercury is very close. So the conversation there with Mercury, which is all about communication, it's all about technology and computers, things of that nature. And of course, when we talk about Neptune, we're talking about dreams and visions as well as illusions and creativity. We're talking about Pluto. We're always talking about transformation, Uranus, revolution. So when all of the astrologers have been saying, this is big, and we've never seen this before. So we keep emphasizing, because it's, see all that blue line energy, because it's primarily trines and sextiles and some oppositions, people are like, as opposed to squares and conjunctions that can be really intense.
More challenging.
And so, we're all going to find out. And I think it's really good to hear and be reminded that we all chose to be here at this time. And now we get to find out what's going to happen from here. How is this going to evolve? How does it impact you? We're happy to answer any questions you might have, especially, take a quick look at your chart and do little quick mini readings, because that's how we learn astrology. What does this mean to me? And I've been studying my chart as well. And so I keep figuring out some things. What's that?
Look at Sprinkle.
Oh, hey.
Sprinkle saying, oh my God. They said, oh my God, you're telling me I'm feeling it hardcore today. I'm glad you're here, Sprinkle. And computers. So I'm thinking, oh, Mercury retrograde there. And then they said, I have Mercury in Aries as my chart ruler at 4 degrees in my 8th house. Let me just say, 4 degrees.
4 degrees.
Neptune is also retrograde right on top of your Mercury. No wonder you're feeling this, Sprinkle. I don't know what you're.
I'll go ahead
we
and
can
pull
take
up
a
their
look
chart.
at your
How about
chart.
that?
Okay, yeah. Pull up their chart, because I'm like, whoa. And this basket,
we kept saying, anybody who has stuff at 4 degrees, pay attention.
Yes. Yeah.
Honestly, if you have stuff at 0 to 8, either side, things that are 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Look at what now those placements are.
You can book with either one
Hannah.
of us at psychicinsights.life. You can book with a private reading if you'd like. Someone asked how they could get a personal reading. If you'd like us to just take a quick look at your chart today, or just give you a little sampling of what we do, you can send your birth date, time, and location right now, and we'll do our best to take a look. And then Sprinkle's saying, and okay, so let's see. So Debbie, you can book at psychicinsights.life. The link is in the description. So you can book with either one of us. Okay. And Sprinkle says, and Mars and Uranus are in my 12th, on top of my MC and North Node, opposing my Uranus. 360. Oh, in my 10th house, not my 12th. Okay. Current location is Utah. Okay. Man, you got a lot of fires around you, Sprinkle. Utah.
Yeah,
man.
we've been
watching the
looking
fires
at that.
out there. Talk about fire and air. What's
this
her
is
name?
The year of the fire horse.
Yeah, Ann Ortley was talking a little bit about this Barbeau's basket and was saying, look at how much fire and air are there. I mean, Aquarius is air, Gemini is air, Libra is air. Plus we have Leo, which is fire, Aries, which is fire. We have a lot of air and fire energy going on this year. And as you if you know anything about fires, most of us know that air to a fire is like you might as well be throwing fuel on the
Yes,
fire. And that really creates um a lot of intensity and I'd also say that I'd also say that particular this particular alignment, the Bravos basket, is for everybody. Like the whole world is going to experience this. This is like a worldwide event. Yes, like the worldwide pandemic. Okay. So you want to think about that. You want to be thinking about how this might affect you personally, particularly if you have anything on those points. Life could become challenging in some areas. It's definitely going to shift and change, that's for sure. I can assure you of that. There will be major shift, major changes. And those changes will um, lead you actually into what we are calling the golden era. Oh, Sprinkle, you're a Virgo. Oh no.
so
Um,
are we. Well, Hollis is a
but
Virgo sun. I'm a Virgo rising. So we get it. Are you
oh,
still
Virgo
in
moon.
Utah?
Yeah, they're still in Utah. They're Pisces with a Virgo moon.
Okay.
Oof.
So, and I'm going to edit this for July 19th.
Virgo rising, Virgo moon, Pisces.
So,
Yeah.
first, let's look at
Those-
just your chart. And and we can even simplify it one more layer down so we see just the main points and not all the asteroids, because sometimes it can make it harder for folks to understand. So you know you're a Virgo rising at 14. You've got the moon in the first house in Virgo. So I sure hope you have a moon app that helps you understand, because of course the moon is switching signs every 2.5 days. And your moon in the first house is going to speak to yourself, your identity, your well being, the way you show up, and how you feel about yourself. Of course, you have the sun. So you were born during a full moon. Um, so was I. And so the sun is in Pisces, and it's almost conjunct Mercury, which is almost what the configuration is right now. Mercury and Venus are never going to be more than one sign off from your sun because how close it is. So, but your Mercury is in Aries, and Mercury in Aries is um, it's good. And let's see. So you have what we call a lot of energy below the horizon. I do too, third and fourth. So the second house is how we look at our possessions, our values, what we value. And you've got Pluto right there at 1 degree in Scorpio. Saturn is retrograde. Sometimes when we see Saturn retrograde, people struggle in their career. The first Saturn retrograde, the first Saturn return they have is usually almost not even noticeable. And your second Saturn return, when you're turning 60, is revelation. There's big things that happen there. Let me know if that feels right for you. I'm kind of collecting data on that one about Saturn retrograde and how the people I have seen often with Saturn retrograde are people who have an astonishing amount of degrees. They have an interest in something and they get a degree in it, and then 5 or 10 years go by and they're like, oh, you know what I really need? You know what would really help me? I'll get another degree and then I'll go into this field. And then 5 or 10 years later, or whatever it is, they get another degree. they don't always, it's a different experience. And Saturn, of course, rules Capricorn. You have it in Scorpio. Okay, so the other, and of course, you have Mars there, Mars in Scorpio. And so, and then at the bottom of your chart is your nodes. Nodes are in Gemini and Sagittarius. Um, and so I have this very similar, but I'm 20 years older than you. Fascinating.
Well, that makes sense. It's because she's a Virgo
60.
rising, but also
Oh,
remember
that's why.
the
Yes,
nodes
yes, yes,
the
yes. Our
nodes
house placements will
moves
be the same. Yeah.
and the nodes move signs every 2 years, right? So
Right,
two
right,
and a half,
right.
2.5 years. So, and the other thing I want to just focus on for the
Yeah, sure.
basket, Bright Hawk, is
Here, you
that
want me to add that? Let's go ahead and
you
add
know,
that.
well, she has Neptune is part of the basket, and you
And
can
so,
see right there sprinkled that it's on. Look at Neptune's at 4 degrees, and check it out. So is your Mercury. Now, you do have Jupiter, but it's a Capricorn. That's not a point on the basket, but it is in a square to your Mercury. So I don't know if there's anything going on with home, relationships, parents, um, possibly other people's money, particularly if we're
sextiality.
not 100% sure about your time. And then also, I want to say that there's something destined about to unfold for you anyway, because Uranus is in the sign of your North Node. So you have destiny headed your way, and um, the
Jupiter.
basket is mostly at 4 degrees. So
Oh,
you want to
that's
think
that.
about things that are at 4 degrees. Now, she does have Pluto at 1 degree Scorpio, um, which would put it in a square. Um, yeah, a square to Aquarius. So that means Pluto is in a square to Aquarius. And it's also in a square to Jupiter in Leo. So I feel like this is sprinkled. This isn't going to be easy for you. You're going to have some problems to solve. But let me say that while you might be having some problems because of this shift, because of whatever golden era we're about to step into, because of the major event that's happening now, let me just say that that's going to be really good for you in some ways, but it could feel challenging in the moment. So, in other words, you're going to feel like, holy cow, how am I going to get through this? Like that kind of thing. And it might be kind of intense. And you may have a hard time trying to find solutions, but I assure you, you will find solutions. It will come to you and it will lead you to better things. They're all squares. So
Yeah.
that's really excellent news in a lot of ways, because instead of it being yeah, instead of it being oppositions, which are harder to resolve, a square, while it sounds really hard, they have a solution. There's some way that you can resolve. There's some way you can find the end. And so oppositions are a little bit harder. You have to find a balance with them. And we are having an opposition during the basket, which is Jupiter and Pluto are in opposition together,
Yeah.
and both Jupiter and Pluto are in a square to your planets. So, yeah, so
But what? Mhm.
the fact that there could be a pull between being independent or seeing ourselves or being ourselves or expressing ourselves versus the collective, since that will be pushing and pulling because Jupiter is opposite Pluto in the basket, that's going to affect you. The way the way that things get restructured will affect you,
Yeah.
Sprinkle.
So one thing that's just jumping out at me that I just have to grab hold of is something that we've been listening to Rick Levine talk about midpoints. And what I noticed between your North Node and your Chiron, that's 11 degrees. You split that in half, and it's 5.5. And right there is Uranus. So Uranus is vibrating at the midpoint between your North Node and Chiron. What does that mean? Well, the North Node is our destiny. It's our direction in life. It's our North Star, if you will. Chiron is the wounded healer. So you have them close enough now that you have this midpoint right here, and boom, Uranus is right there. And Uranus is sextiling your Mercury. So communicating what's new, what's different, what's changing, and using this healing North Node Chiron energy is the way for you forward. Okay. Communicating what's new, what's coming up. Uranus is revolutionary. It's not subtle change. It's holy crap, I didn't see that coming kind of change. And this is so lit up right now. Like if I just show you the light up, that 4-degree Uranus is lit up in so many different ways. You see this mystic rectangle. We were just talking about Jupiter. You see it's in a sextile. So now we add your chart back in, put you in the middle, and you start to go, oh, okay. So this is exciting to me. This says, well, you have some squares and they can be challenging. You have a huge healing opportunity with this Uranus North Node, Chiron sextiling your Mercury Aries, which is going to say, take action, communicate, be present. What are you doing? And it's in your house of relationships. Mercury is in your house of relationships, all relationships, not just love relationships. And of course, your 9th house is your adventures, travel, philosophy, higher mind, how you think about things. So your way you're thinking about things definitely could change. And that has an exciting component to it that I'm like, I'm going to be curious. I hope you come back and tell us how this went. Matter of fact, I hope you check in right now and tell us, are we completely off track or are we on track?
No,
Are you going?
no, they've already said a whole bunch of things.
Okay,
Hannah,
so let me
I'm working on trying to get you a link. Um, Hannah, I'm trying to get you a link. Here we go. And so here's the thing is that Sprinkle said that, first of all, I think they were with us last week and they explained that their partner was um, detained by ICE. And so it's unfortunate that that's
What did you
happened.
say? I missed it.
Their partner is detained by ICE.
Oh, God. I'm so sorry. Man, if there's a group of people I really don't care for.
Okay. So, and okay. So first of all, they wanted to share. I have my firstborn child and the greatest gift of my life, who also passed away during my Saturn return. Oof, Saturn retrograde in Scorpio with Pluto. Not surprised there. And then they said I love, love, love learning. I quit only needing less than 20 credits for my BA in sociology. And overall in their chart, the nodes square a lot of things. That's right. And they said, yes, my fiance was in jail for 2 years. I fought to get him out of the entire time. He got out for 2 weeks and now he's being detained by ICE. And then they said, I studied criminal justice in school and have followed the law for a long time. So when no one would listen to me because I figured out he's actually a citizen, I decided to take on immigration. And then courts myself, the immigration courts myself. So that is what I'm doing. I'm preparing a 30-page motion to get him home again. I did stop the expedited deportation to get his case back in with the courts, so that was a huge win. And then they said he has his Aquari Aqua at 2 degrees Aqua. I'm assuming
Aquarius.
Aquarius, but I don't. I'm not sure what planet that is. But whatever it is, Pluto will be on it, plus an Aries moon, so he's feeling it too. And his south node is at 3 degrees Pisces, north. Oh man, you guys are in for a ride with this Barbeau's basket, but that's a good thing because it should bring profound change. The change in our culture will be affecting you guys, both you and your partner, very intensely. Sprinkle, I am sure of it. There's no doubt in my mind that the two of you will be deeply affected by this. um in a way that you probably can't even imagine. It will be some of the Barbeau said that this shift will be profound, and it will be a shift in all of humanity. So whatever it is going to be pretty big, and it's on a world scale here. I'm not talking about a small thing. I'm talking about a big deal here. So hang in there, Sprinkle. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep following your heart there. And I think it's really I think it's pretty profound that this is happening to you at this time. But this is what I mean, where the current situation will affect you. The current situation of the way the United States government is deporting citizens because of their brown skin and such like that, and
Hmm.
this ICE thing, this craziness that's going on. This is creating a lot of chaos for a lot of people, and people that can prove they're a citizen, and even me, being afraid to even say that because our government is so sort of a little bit backwards right now.
God, we
We're
send you such
definitely,
strength. I just, my heart
yeah.
goes out to you. I just, every
This is
time
a
I see
huge
another, I'll
this is a
pull
huge
Tani's and
event.
then we'll get Kayla after that. But I don't
Okay.
know if we'll have
Yeah, I
time
just
for
want to
more
say,
than two
guys,
more.
this is a huge. Okay, this is a
Huge.
huge event this week, you guys. It's a huge event at the end of the week, and if you and you're some of us are going to be more affected than others. Hi, Cheryl. How you doing? And okay, welcome. You got it. You got it, Hannah. Welcome.
Oh gosh, Hannah.
Welcome, Cheryl. Yeah,
Yeah.
so hopefully you guys get a chance to watch the broadcast. Make sure you check out the Substack. You can watch the broadcast there, or you can the video is also inside the Substack post, so you can easily here I'll put a link to the Substack in the chat, so you'll be able to see that. And you know check it out for your horoscope. And we go into huge detail about this Barbeau's basket. It's a pretty big deal. It's never happened before. So if you've only been here for a few minutes, the thing that you should understand about this week's transit is that it's never happened before. And why is that significant? A lot of things have never happened before. Well, let's say that astrology is mostly the way you predict astrology is by looking at history. So, when Saturn was in Aries last, this is what happened. So we're expecting something more a similar picture to that. Or the last time Jupiter was in Leo, this is what happened. The last time Pluto was in Aquarius, the United States was defined. The United States was established. The Revolutionary War ended and the United States became a country. That's what happened the last time Pluto was in Aquarius 250 years ago. Just think about that for a minute, okay? So now Pluto's there again and is a big part of this basket. The United States is a huge influence on the country as a whole. This basket has never happened before. Barbeau predicted the pandemic and is now predicting that we are about to enter into the golden era. So make sure you watch our broadcast because I go into deep detail about exactly what is said, exactly what will change. I'll be releasing horoscopes for everyone. It'll be based on your rising sign. So watch out for that too. That'll be coming up this week in Reels, whether you're on YouTube or Facebook, they'll be in the Reels. It will be super important because it will help you understand what part of your life it will affect the most. And if you have planets between 0 and 6 degrees, it's probably going to be affected, particularly if it's in any of the signs that are affected, like Aries, Gemini, Aquarius, Libra, Leo. Okay, all the air and fire signs. Oh, man, talk about a lot of fire and air, and that could mean a lot of things. And right now, half of the western part of the country is burning up. We are on fire. In case you didn't know that, you can ask Sprinkle about that.
Yeah. So Sprinkle, we send you so much love. I'm glad it was helpful. I hope everything goes really strongly in your direction. I love that Mercury for you, especially if you're a lawyer and you're arguing. I feel like that's going to be so good for you. Um,
Yeah, it's gonna help you. It's gonna help you because
how to
I'll be
switch to
around.
yeah, great white shark mode for sure. Speaking of shark mode, where great whites live, we're going to switch to Tani's chart now. Tani, I hope you're still here. Tani is in Australia, so when you said great white shark mode, and I was pulling up Tani's chart in Australia, I thought that was kind of funny. Um, so, Tani, you also have a number of placements that are going to be lit up with that 4 degrees that we keep talking
Oh,
about. So, look at that. That's 2 degrees Aries moon right on your ascendant, 7 degrees off of your ascendant. So, that's very strong, very important. Um, One of the things we've learned about Aries moon, we took time to learn extra about it because our granddaughter has an Aries moon. Aries moon can have a nervous disposition. Sometimes they call it a cat on a hot tin roof, or people who are a little more on the anxious side. So the fact that it's in the 12th house with Mars and Venus in Pisces is can be challenging. I have a 12th house stellium. A stellium is when we have 3 or more planets in one area, but they're in 2 different signs, so it changes the flavor. Your 12th house is what we call intercepted. The ruler is Pisces, which means it's going to answer to Neptune in it, and it's 90 degrees. Your moon is squaring Neptune, and that's at 2 degrees. And the tricky part of the 12th house, and I speak from experience, is that the 12th house is literally like your blind spot. It's like so right behind you. You don't always know what's going on, why. And with Mars in Pisces, Mars is going to want us to take action, but Pisces is all watery, the ocean of emotion. So this can be a little on the tricky side. Let me know if that sounds true for you. Now, Venus in Pisces, big feeler. So you're going to feel a lot. It's going to be amplified by Mars and the moon. All of this says big feelings, not always understanding it. Sometimes I get anxious about it. Let me know if any of that rings true for you. Now, Aries are people who are really good at ideas and coming up with, what you should do, but they're not great at follow through. And you know what? If you work your Aries correctly, maybe that's not your job. Maybe your job is to help get things initiated. Maybe your
mhm.
job is not to be the cleanup person, it's to be the initiator. So, something to think about. Let me know if that rings true. Boom, again, 3 degrees, Chiron in Gemini. And um, it's in a quincunx, or an inconjunct to Neptune. You have a yod. These two green lines say healing is very important to you. You value healing. It's in your second house of values and things that are important. And maybe you're even a healer. I don't know. Let us know if that's true, because you have the North Node there with Chiron. The North Node is in Taurus, which is
Mm.
being grounded. Remember, North Node, North Star, it's the direction. So hug a tree and you're going to feel better. Staying really grounded, gardening, things of that nature, really important. And the other, of course, we've talked about Neptune. You have Neptune here in Capricorn at 2 degrees. So that's going to light up. And boom, we have another Pluto in Scorpio at 4 degrees. So now we're going to add the
Barbo's basket.
Barbo's basket. And what do we see? We see Neptune in Aries, right conjunct your moon. So dreams and visions and also illusions. We have Pluto at 4 degrees, 1 degree off of your sun in Aquarius. Big year, big transformational year. And in the 10th house, it's going to be flavored with career, authority, reputation, things of that nature. And your eyes, Hollis, you can speak to ICs better than I can.
No, that's the
Pluto.
transit. That's the transit
Oh,
I see. So
then just kind of ignore it. Okay.
Yeah. And so here's the
But
other thing I would
for
here's something I would say is I would ask Tani, are you some sort of activist? You're an Aquarius and Pluto's on your
sextile.
sign.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you what you're up to. Are you any kind of I come from a line, I think they mean shamans, but I haven't gotten right into my healing stuff yet. Yeah. Well, Tani, you probably will here soon in the coming years, but
Yeah.
I need to ask you if you are an activist, or if you've been considering some sort of activism. Because Pluto is on your sun and it's going to be part of the basket. Plus, Chiron is being with Uranus, is being sort of transited by Uranus. And that's part of the basket. Plus, your natal Pluto is going to be square the it's actually already is in a square to Pluto over in Aquarius, which is on your sun. And then on top of that, your Neptune, the Neptune part of the basket, will be on your moon. These are numerous points, Tani. You have this basket is going to be very intense for you. I don't know what's going on in your life right now, but I could guess it has to do maybe with money. It probably has to do with maybe other people's money, relationships. In particular, probably also have a lot to do with your values, activism, your career. What do you do for a living? What kind of job do you have? Whatever's going on right now, especially if you could be influenced by some political happenings. There's a major thing happening in our culture this week, and it's not necessarily bad because it's going to put us all on the right track. It's going to put us all into the golden era, and I think most of us could agree that we could definitely use some changes, right? So, but I mean, the basket itself is influencing you really intensely. Oh, okay. I'm also a native Aboriginal in Australia, so you're very spiritual. Oh, okay,
Beautiful.
great.
Beautiful.
Love the sound of all
That
that, but I'm
makes,
not a proper activist, but I do when needed to. Well, you might need to, Tony. I would
yeah,
not be
there's,
surprised if you get called to fight. You might
well,
be directly called to fight. Um, I'm just gonna say, especially with this transit, with the Jupiter and Leo down in the fourth house, that's going to speak to home. The new moon in Cancer, that speaks to your home life, to where you came from. So of course that's, being an Aboriginal. So I just feel like
So,
you're
and
gonna
I
have to
just,
stand up and do something.
Hollis, I'd love you to speak to her South Node conjunct her Saturn in the eighth house. That to me says you're an old soul, and there's, again, it just feels like we have all incarnated in this time for a reason. And it's in Scorpio. So Saturn Scorpio is going to be quite serious. Um, Saturn, of course, speaks to our father figure. Saturn tends to constrict because it wants to make sure you're on purpose, you're on task, you're doing what you came here to do. Come on, let's go. And it's conjunct the South Node, which speaks to our past karma, our past lives, and uh, I just would love to hear your take on that.
Well, the thing is that Saturn is ruled by is ruler of Capricorn. Capricorn's in the 10th house. It's at the MC at the top of the sky. And I believe that that means that she'll have to deal with the system, and she does. She says, Tawny, sorry, Tawny, I'm using she pronouns, and I don't know what your pronouns are. If you guys put your pronouns with your birthday, it would greatly help me. So Tawny, the fact that Capricorn is at the top of your chart with Jupiter and Mercury, this tells me the health manager that you are, especially since Scorpio tends to speak to health management and things about health. Wouldn't be surprised if someday you ended up dealing with people that were dying in some way or at the end of their life. I'm sure you're an old soul, no doubt. The South Node in the eighth house speaks to a lot of hidden past lives. So for some reason, your past lives are hidden from you. Um, and I would also say that with the moon in the 12th house on your ascendant, you lead more emotionally than you think you do. You're very passionate. You're a warrior. And with Neptune there, I just want you to be careful if you are pulled to any activist movements. Um, I just want you to think twice. You might be under some illusions for a little while. Okay, so if there's some sort of activism that you're pulled to, kind of glad you're not an American.
Mm-hmm.
And so being an Australian, but you still could be called. I mean, this is going to be worldwide. And if something
Mm-hmm.
happens where you're put in the front line somehow, or you're fighting for your rights, or you're protesting, or whatever's happening, okay, I just want you to just think twice before you make any decisions. Okay. Yeah. Okay. You do deal. Okay. See, Tony says they do deal with people that are dying. Mhm. So, and
And
the
that's
reason
the
I
12th
said
house.
that,
That's that 12th house moon.
well,
And
it's
by the
also,
way, your moon is really close to a world point. The world point is 0 Aries. And so being known for that work, or 12th house is also house of the occult, working in institutions, things of that nature. So fascinating.
the reason I
Do we
say
have,
working with the
sorry.
dead, Bright Hawk, is because Pluto is in Scorpio, and Scorpio rules the eighth house, and Saturn is in the eighth house, and Saturn is in the eighth house, and the eighth house is ruled by Scorpio, not just in this chart, but as a rule. So Scorpio
Right.
rules that chart, but
Right.
so does Pluto. And so then as a result, we come up with she has Saturn in the eighth house. So she's probably working with people that are passing in some way, that are dying. And see, she is very passionate and a warrior. Yeah, I bet
Yeah,
you are, because
that's
you're gonna take off and, um, yeah, yeah. Tani, I just want you to take care of yourself. That's all. With Pluto on your on your sun there, and Pluto in a square. It's major transformation, but it also should be taken with a little bit of caution. You should just be careful of where you're stepping and exactly what you're doing and what that is. Okay. So, yeah,
yeah.
exactly. That's all. I'm just telling you to wear your armor, take a second look, and just be. I mean, we can go deeper into reading or something, Tawny, but I just wanted to say that's you wanna kind of take your time, just think twice,
Yeah.
because Pluto can
Yeah.
also mean transformation. It doesn't always mean death. Sometimes it means transformation, rebirth, change.
Yeah.
It means all of that, and that's why, as you know, that is what death is. Death is transformation, change,
Yeah.
right? So,
When we worked in the
well,
nursing homes, we often called death graduation day. It doesn't have to be conceived as a negative thing. It's unfortunate that Western medicine treats death like it's a failure or something. It's a transition, it's a transformation. You, we all know that the soul is the soul and the body is the body, and the soul inhabits the body while it's here. And then, when we become part of the great one again, it's the body transforms and the soul starts harvesting the lessons of this lifetime and figuring out what the next thing will be. Awesome. I am so blown away at how fast this hour goes. Just like boom. You
well,
guys are
hold on a
great. We
second,
love you
because
to.
I think we mentioned to Kayla that we would do a reading for her, and she's been patiently waiting. So she let us know
Oh,
that she
just
stepped
can you give
away
me
and that she'll be
location? What's
back.
MS? All right, I'll try to do
She's
it
in
real quick.
Pennsylvania. She's in Pennsylvania. October, look,
Do you have her
October
chart?
11th. No, October 1st,
Okay. Let me.
1988. I mean, I can make it, but you can
No, no.
too.
I'll just go ahead and.
It's at 10:01 a.m. in Pennsylvania. She's in Pottsville. Okay. So what I would
Okay,
say, you
so
guys,
this
is
is
everybody should be looking at your chart. Take a look at your chart.
right.
See if there's anything at between 0 and about 6 degrees. And that the more planets that you have at about those degrees, the more likely it's going to affect you, the more likely it's going to be more intense. Also, Hannah, I have your chart on hand. So I'm happy to take a look real quick and just see how intense this basket might be for you. Because you're a teacher, Hannah, that makes me think about, like, does Hannah have anything? Hannah, Jupiter, whew, Jupiter, Leo. Hannah literally is having a Jupiter returns in Leo, but Hannah's Jupiter is retrograde. And then plus, okay. Hannah, I don't think it will be extreme for you, but you'll definitely be impacted, probably in ways that you won't see coming, Hannah. And then later on, you'll figure out that you'll figure out, Hannah, that what happened during this week will probably impact the whole system and will eventually affect you, probably because you're a school teacher. And we make sure you listen to the main forecast. I know they have a transcript on YouTube, so you can get your transcript for the main forecast on YouTube. And of course, you can also read the Substack. The Substack is in the link, Hannah. Um, Hopefully, you got transcript for this. You can always message me if you see that your name is up there and you can't read what I'm saying. But the thing is, Hannah, is that it won't be super intense for you, but it will probably affect you in a way that you don't see right away, and you won't really become completely aware of it. But there is a major world event happening, and so you should listen to it as a general understanding. You only have one planet at 4 degrees, and it's in the 12th house, so it will be hidden from you. Um, and you may not It makes me worry a little bit about, like, hidden enemies and stuff like that. But so I think you're gonna be okay, though. I think it's gonna happen, but you won't really realize the impact of it until way later. Okay. So
Okay,
try not to worry
so
about it too much. Go ahead.
since we're overtime, Kovacia Anderson, are you still here? And Hollis, it says MS. Where did you get Pennsylvania from? Do you know, Thurb?
Um,
I don't know where you got
yeah, it's right
Pennsylvania from.
here. Hold on, I'm gonna
Do you
show
have their
you.
chart?
Nope, right
I
here.
looked back through the messages. I didn't see it. So
Look at
can
the
you give me
screen.
exact location?
Look at the screen. Look at the screen.
I'm looking at Astro Gold. What do you got? No,
Can you
that
look at
is not the
StreamYard?
same. No, this is a different person. So I'm not going to do this chart then. You can go ahead and do it. But
Okay.
we're over time. And
Okay.
South
But this is the
Haven,
person
Missouri.
I was talking about.
Oh, well, we're talking about two different people. So you could pull that chart and where did the, okay, two different K words and we jumped too fast. Okay, but I still don't have, where did the little box go with the, no. Shoot. Too many windows. Where did you go?
Okay, so Kayla, I'm gonna save your chart in my thing. So if you ever come to our live again, you can just say, "Hey, I you have my chart on." Okay. So let me just
I'm sorry.
uh
I don't, it all disappeared.
okay. It's
It's
okay.
okay. We'll have to do it next time. I hope you'll join
No,
us next time.
I have Kayla's chart right now, right here.
Okay, go
Okay.
ahead.
So Kayla. So interesting, Kayla, is that you have a basket in your chart, which is
Oh,
very
wow.
interesting. They actually have one with, and it looks like the moon is opposite Neptune. Interesting. But as far as this basket affecting you, you can see a little bit of their basket. It not quite as intense as the one that will be happening at the end of this week, but it's still there. And you do have a huge square, a grand square is what they call it. You do have Aries in the fifth house, Mars retrograde, Kayla. So this makes me think about romantic relationships and things of that nature. Neptune is at that spot. So this could affect your romantic relationships or your relationships with children, and as well generally relationships, also probably relationship, all kinds of relationships will be greatly affected by this shift, by this change. I don't know if you've had any kind of relationship situations that have been affected by the current shifts, by the current separation of the world. You know how the world is very separated right now. I mean, how could you miss it? So if that has been affected, you might find that there are some changes in that coming. If you've been you know separated from anyone, or avoid someone because of the differences, because of the changes, most of us have at least one person that way. um and that could greatly affect even money in your life. It could affect how you make money, how you spend money, the work you do in the world. It would also affect how your relationships are at work and men. So if that's happening to you right now, this Barbo's basket is going to influence you in that way, particularly with men. Do you have a son or a child? Um, so
So I
because
was
the fifth
wondering.
house can also to do with Mars, and so it also makes me think about that. But I mean, in general, you're a Scorpio rising, so Pluto's on your ascendant, and Pluto's in its rulership there, so that's gonna mean a huge. You're gonna lead as a transformational, changing person, and since you have a child, I would say that with Neptune there, you might be under some I don't know how old your child is, depends on how old they are. There might be some misunderstandings or some things that you're not seeing clearly in regards to your child. So be aware of that, particularly as this major event happens, which I can't really tell you what it is because it's never happened before. So it's really hard to predict. But I can tell you that it could affect your child or you or romantic relationships or actions that you take 13, 14. Yeah, I would be careful about this weekend and next week, what you allow them to do, what you say yes to, or what you, if they're up to something, I would be paying attention. I would be asking where they're going, who with, and what are they doing. I would get nosy in your kid's life. I would get super nosy. Okay. And I, because Mars in its rulership and Mars is retrograde. And maybe sometimes, your son kind of does whatever he wants or something. And maybe you're not very assertive in setting boundaries or something like that. You might need to be. Okay.
You have
Especially
to
with
really look
Neptune.
out for Mars retrograde. That's Mars retrograde can have real boomerang effects. So if they try to be aggressive, it can boomerang on them. You want to be super careful with that. And with Neptune retrograde on top of it, I think Hollis's advice is worth taking. And, it's your job as a mom to try to keep them safe. So
Yeah, and
hopefully,
there's a major transformation happening right now. Make sure you listen to the whole broadcast. I wouldn't say that it's affecting you super intensely, but it will be affecting you. It will be shifting you, it will be changing you. You do have some transits, you do have a couple of planets involved, at least two. I can see two planets that will be directly transited by this basket for you. So that's like,
and
that's enough to make
Scorpio
it
rising,
intentional
I'm
for you
just
to
saying,
notice.
Scorpio rising, trust your intuition. You have really
Yeah.
strong intuition. You are an incredible read of character. Trust it, listen to yourself, do what you know and think is right, and
Yeah.
know that
And
that's your superpower right there.
I would keep
It's
it
not
for the rest
comfortable.
of this month, Kayla, because this transit
Yeah.
it's gonna line up this weekend, but then it's gonna keep going all the way through. And the moon will be opposite that Mars, so there could be some
Right.
drama with your son or with your
Mm,
child about what big event is happening in the world. So I would
mm,
just say be careful with this. Okay, just
yeah.
go slow, pay attention, keep your eyes open for the rest of the month, and particularly as things
Yeah.
unfold this month, we're going to be seeing a major era shift, a major change. No
Yeah.
astrologer really knows what's going to happen. We're all making guesses, and we keep explaining that. So there's
Yeah.
just no way to predict because it's never happened before. So I hope
Yeah.
all of you will take time to you
Yeah.
can book with Brighthawk or I at both of or me at psychicinsights.life. Also, make sure if you don't know your rising sign and you want to check out the horoscopes, make sure you get this beginner guide to astrology. This will help you make sure you know what your rising sign is so you can listen to your proper horoscope. The horoscope will be more accurate when you listen to your rising sign, okay? And so make sure you use this code and go to this link, shop two. You can just go to divineandrogen.com, and that will take you to the place that you need to be. And if you want to save money on a reading, join Mystics Academy. There's also
Ah,
some great 101 classes in there. We've got the chart orientation showing you how to read your chart. We have how to a class Bright Hawk and I made about the zodiacs and about the houses. So there's 3 astrology classes available plus some other classes. Plus you also save money every month on a reading or coaching with me. I'm happy to do coaching and teach you astrology, teach you what I know. It's my honor. I'm happy to do that. And like I said, make sure you check out this week's um this week's broadcast. It is on YouTube. That's probably the best place to watch it. You can see it here. I'm gonna put it in the link. The yes. Well, Hannah, I already did yours. So uh, Hannah, rewind it a little bit. I put up I'm getting ready to end right now, but I put up your question earlier from YouTube. I put up your question from YouTube while I talked about your chart. Okay. It won't be super intense for you, Hannah, but you will be affected, probably in work. Okay.
And I'm terribly sorry to the person. We ran out of time. I'm not sure I have their name right. Kate Anderson was the second part. Please join us next week at 8 o'clock. We do this, we try to be as prompt as possible from 8 to 9 every Monday night. Always happy to look at your chart. We don't always have the time to look at everyone's. I apologize that we didn't get to yours, but I would love to do that for you next time. This Barbeau's basket is majorly in play next Monday night, the 20th. It's going to be in play for quite a long time, and we'd love to help you guys understand it. You guys are great. We just love you all and really appreciate all the great questions, your willingness to share with us. We love the dialogue and the back and forth, and we wish you all the very, very best. This is exciting times, and may it be fruitful times and good times and helpful, and wishing you just all the very, very best. And there you are, Kelvashia Anderson. Please do jump in fast and quick next week, and we'll make sure you're absolutely gonna get a read. And thanks for listening to Rainbow Soul Astrology. Really helps if you subscribe and hit that bell so you get notified when we come on, especially through YouTube is probably the best way to do it. We've changed some things around, so thanks for listening to Rainbow Soul Astrology, where we try to be a bridge between you and the stars. Have a great week, everybody. Much love. Mwah.